God surprises. Chapter 16. John called me a week before the event. "Hey, Dennis," he said, "I need a bio from you. Could you put together a couple sentences explaining why men should pay to hear your story?" I had been invited to be the keynote presenter for a men's conference at New River Assemblies of God in Red Wing, Minnesota. I had never done anything like it before. I said, "Let me get back to you on that." 3 days later, my phone rang. It was John. "Do you have something for me?" "John," I told him, "for the life of me, I can't figure out why anybody would want to come listen to me speak." This wasn't false modesty. I had no business giving a talk at a men's conference. I was no public speaker. A few years earlier, I wouldn't have even thought of doing such a thing. But after months of heart surgeries and hospital stays, something had changed. I experienced the peace of Christ so deeply through a difficult period that I came out of it hungry to serve. One night, while I was still recovering at home, I went to worship at River Valley Church. I was in rough shape, and Pam Johnson, she and her husband Mark Johnson are both pastors, stopped me on my way out. "Dennis," she took in my sunken cheeks and gray skin, "are you ever going to be able to work construction again?" I had been struggling with that question myself. In the moment, I wasn't sure if I'd make the walk to the car, much less run a backhoe. I shrugged and answered honestly, "I don't know." "Well," she said, "the ministry you do with these men, I always kind of thought of you as a pastor." The question flipped a switch. The Holy Spirit started stirring things around inside my head. Almost every week, someone would stop me in church and ask me to talk to their brother or father or son. And then when I wasn't laid up from my heart issues or working construction for 12 hours a day, I'd drive down to visit incarcerated men at Faribault Prison. I'd been doing this ministry for over a year, but until Pam said something, I had never thought of myself as a pastor. It wasn't long before I asked one of the pastors at church how to get started. He pointed me to the Berean School of the Bible. They offered 9 classes, he explained, which ran $100 apiece. I was growing more sure Jesus was calling me to ministry, but I wasn't sure about the price tag. Patty was a stay-at-home mom. I was on temporary disability, which didn't quite cover our mortgage. I had insurance, but we still had a $6,000 deductible. All told, we had about $150 in the bank. I went home and bought the first course. Then I told Patty. She wasn't tickled. But I felt strongly God was calling me to do this. I ran my life for the first 40-some years, and it handed me a 110-month prison sentence. It was time to let God run it for a while. I told Patty, "I feel this is what I need to be doing. If this is God, He'll take care of the money part." She looked skeptical. "And if it's not God, we'll eat at your mom and dad's for the month." We went back and forth about it for the rest of the night, then went to bed without a resolution. The next day, we went to visit Patty's sister, Sarah, and her husband, Tony. As we talked, I told them about these Bible courses. I didn't say a word about the cost or our empty bank account. Tony barely let me finish my sentence. "Dennis," he said, "let Sarah and I bless you on this. Let us pay for your courses." I stammered out some kind of response, and he immediately wrote out a check for all the courses, including the one I paid for the night before. Patty and I looked at each other. She was crying. I started crying. When I could catch my breath, I said, "I think God spoke."